Hey everyone, my name is Tori. I'm a librarian and I recently started this channel. If you're returning, thank you so much for watching another video, and if you're new here, welcome. I wanted today to kind of show you all my 2022 planner system, and it's pretty banged up. It's got stains on it. And this part is also cut a little bit on accident, and like the protective, I don't know what material this would be. It's like a very heavy plastic. Anyways, the protective plastic over the front is just hanging on for a, dear life. But if you're familiar, you already know what this is. This is a plum paper planner. And one of the very first issues that I had with this planner for 2022 was the size. So it is like a very large standard 8.5 by 11, like full large notebook, obviously. And I really did like the way plum paper allows you to customize their planners. So you are getting a very unique planner that still has some kind of structure, right? So I found this planner in 2021 and I was so excited, and I was like, this is what I'm going to use for 2022. I found what I wanted, right? Well, and then you get into it, and right around the notorious months that I usually drop planners, if I'm gonna drop them, I'm gonna drop them in either September or October. And you can see here how that worked out for me. So I did really customize all the headers here. So I have goals this week, a quote of the week that I like to write, habit tracker, priorities. I tried to do 3 types of gratitude a day, and then I had a home section down here at the bottom for any kinds of chores that I wanted to do. But I don't know, maybe it was just like too much structure. There was so much going on here that maybe it just, I don't know. Like, I remember distinctly when I stopped picking this planner up because I put it next to my desk on top of my printer. Like, I'm very bad about that. I'll just stack stuff on top of my printer because I don't use my printer like all of the time, just because ink is expensive and I really gotta like something to print it off. But so I remember putting this on top of my printer, and then stuff got piled on top of it too, and it just RIP. I feel like it's giving me, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm feeling like, if you've seen Toy Story, you know how the penguin toy gets put on the shelf, and Woody thought that the penguin was, what is his name? Squeezy? Not Squeezy. I'm not sure. I'll look that up afterwards. But basically, the penguin gets put on a shelf because his squeaker's broken, and he gets forgotten about, and he's dusty and coughing, and Woody didn't even know he was still up there. And oh my goodness, that's how I feel like this planner got treated, and I'm so sorry. But I mean, it was fairly expensive. I would say it was like $60, which, I mean, is also the same price as a Hobonichi cousin, so it's priced pretty competitively for what's in the, I guess, the market. And you know, for this you do get a lot more space than the cousin, and you get a lot more areas to write. But I don't know, y'all. I just, it got put on the shelf and I never went back to it. And I even had weeks where I was like, I should pick that back up again, and I didn't, because I was just like, too late. So I just decided that it was very functional for when I first got it, and I'll flip back to some of the filled out weeks here in a moment. But when I did use it, I was all in, right? I'm not, I don't really peter off on something. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, I go cold turkey and I just stop. So going back to the very beginning, this is right after I came off of my bullet journaling experience, and so I was still trying to use it somewhat like a bullet journal, even though this has a ton more structure. Obviously, I didn't really use the year at a glance at all, but this is kind of where I tried to get a little bit more creative with like stickers and putting in specific dates, and then I tried to kind of go over some things I wanted to do. Like, this would have been a spread that I would have done in a bullet journal, and it would have looked a lot better. I don't like the way that the paper looks, and I chose the wrong pattern paper. This is just tragic to me. I don't like the way it looks. But like, I tried to use some of this as like different experiences that I wanted to do in 2022. I think this was like the months under here. Like, these were labeled as, I want to say, all 12 months, and I condensed the months over here and then did these headers over here. And then this is also something I tried to kind of makeshift into a bullet journal spread of a sort, where I was, you know, writing out what kinds of books I wanted to read for the year. And then I recently learned that this is not popular for a lot of people. There's a lot of personal information on this spread, so I'm gonna go to this one. Okay, I learned that, like, just this week, that this is not a popular feature for a lot of people who use the plum paper planners, that it doesn't open straight to the monthly spread. You have this goals or monthly highlights and then a note page, and then you turn the page to the monthly spread, which I really didn't mind because I did utilize the note pages. I was actually using the back page, so you get a notes page in the front, and then you have your weeks, and then you also get a note page in the back that I used for journaling. So I didn't mind the extra space for writing, because I was trying to like practice more of a journaling habit, but I don't think once a month was really the way to do that. I think I did need to kind of incorporate a daily system like I have in the Cousin now. But so I did very much like use this planner at first, right? I am going for it and trying my best to make sure that I even have coordinating pins with the color of the month. A lot of what I used was the Pilot Friction colored pack, so I used like these kinds of pens, and I really like the way it showed up on this paper because it's just standard kind of like printer type paper, so it's not gonna have a faded look like it does on the Tomoe River paper. And so this was what I was trying to use, and I was trying to make it work, and it did some days, and then some days it didn't at all. And I think that was a very telling sign at the very beginning of like, if it's gonna work, I'm going to be in it every single day, and I'm not gonna have days where I don't do anything. So, and I think that was the number one sign that this was eventually going to fall off the wagon for me, because there were just times where I just didn't see the need, or I didn't want to open it because it was so big. And if I did open it, I was in it for the whole week, and then I'd just like go a couple days. And while that may seem normal, and it probably is normal for a lot of people, I feel like for me, I am either going to be obsessed about something or I'm going to struggle to stay in it. And there's like, it's like 0 to 100. There's no in between. So, that's kind of why this was a I guess, I don't want to say it was a fail. It wasn't a fail. It helped me out, but I definitely, right around September, just quit using it. And I actually moved into rings, but the rings lasted even shorter than this. So I want to say I was in a rings planner. And I'll put an image right here of the rings planner I was using. My sister actually asked me if she could have it because I wasn't using it anymore, and I didn't foresee myself going back into rings anytime soon anyways. So I gave her all of my inserts and the actual planner itself. And it's just a basic planner I picked up at Hobby Lobby. It was not like a Gillio or a Moterm or anything fancy. It was literally like $12. And my thought process was the rings could give me, it could like maintain the customization that I liked in the plum paper, but also give me a lot less, like, my thought process at the time was that it was a lot of structure and a lot of fluidity at the same time based on how I wanted to do it. But what I struggled with for a ring system is feeling like I could make myself at home in the rings because it was too open-ended for me. Even if I bought a couple of inserts from different shops, I felt like I wasn't using them correctly. It was a very big imposter syndrome system for me. And so I think I did rings for September, October, November. So 3 months. And then I actually found the Hobonichi cousin around November of 2022 and fully moved into it for 2023. And so that is how I got to the cousin, and I am grateful for this planner because it showed me what works and what doesn't work for me and what sizes I'm good with. And this kind of spiral bound, I really don't mind. Like, at the end of the day, I am okay with writing against the spiral because you can like put something under the sheet to lift it up to where it's easily manageable. So I don't mind a spiral like this because I don't feel like it's as obtrusive or frustrating to work with as I do discs. Just because I'm used to a spiral system like this, just with notebooks that I use for school and stuff like that. So that didn't bother me. I think for this one, the biggest fail was the size. I got too excited about all of the features, and if I went back to a plum paper, I would definitely go smaller and less bells and whistles, I guess is what I would say. I would kind of simplify it, but again, the cousin is really working out for me, and I really am enjoying it. But this was my 2022 year, like that's what it looked like, and this is all I have left from 2022. Like I said, I don't have my ring system anymore. I completely deconstructed it and sent it to its next home because rings was so chaotic for me. I just felt like I could never get where I wanted to be because I'm very much of a perfectionist and I'm very critical of myself and my own like sense of creativity. When I try to do something, I'm very critical of how I do it. And that kind of got into how I was planning in my rings. I felt like nothing I did was cool enough or worthy of sharing with anybody. Not that that's what planning has to be. It just has to be functional for you. But I think rings really brought out a weird sense of insecurity for me. So I do thrive off of some kind of structure planner. And for rings, the amount of inserts that are available was also overwhelming. Like I just would get into like a decision freeze because I had so many options and I couldn't choose. So that was another struggle for me. Apologies for Mr. Waffles jingling over there. He just hopped up on the bed. But yeah, so this was just a quick look at my 2022 planner setup, and I hope this helped you kind of see what a plum paper product looked like if you've never seen one, or if you were curious about a bigger size and what you can potentially get with it. I really enjoyed it. It's just when it stopped working, and that was the end of it. So we had a good run. She was a good girl when she was working. And so she did get me through the first half of 2022, and that's nothing to shake your head at. So I just thought this would be an interesting video to show you all how I operated last year and what worked and what didn't. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And again, thank you so much for stopping by to watch my video. I hope you'll consider subscribing and giving me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.